Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back. It's Jordan here. The wall of bricks is still standing. Yes, I'm pretty happy about that. Thank goodness. I was a little bit scared when I opened the door this morning. I was like, is it still going to be there? And it turns out, yes, it is. So today I'm going to take care of a pretty cool project, and that of course is the skyscraper that's going to go around this beam. Don't have much space to work with. It comes pretty close to this train track right there, like the raised line, and also pretty close to the ground line as well. Like, look at the clearance. So it's a difficult task. Plus I have to like build it in panels that will be installed going around this pillar. So yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, just something a little bit different. And then right here you can see there's a gap. I don't know why that gap is there. I guess it's just because this city is just so big, and slight misalignment that happens over in that corner becomes larger and larger and larger and larger until just things happen, and that's where the gap currently is, I guess, right? It is what it is. I think I'll be able to blend that in, even if I just have like a plate overlapping that gap, right? Just hiding it. But maybe I'll be able to include that in the skyscraper. So I've actually already started my operation over here. I've got my coffee ready to go this morning, and then I've got all my parts ready to go as well. Now, this is the template that I built quite some time ago, actually. When I originally took all those bricks down that you saw on the side of that cabinet there, I was like, okay, well, I can't just take the bricks down and not have a solid idea of what I want to do. So I built this template, and it's pretty nice. You got the balconies there, and that's where the majority of the color is going to go, because I'm going to put figures on the balconies of the high-rise. And you've got some blue windows, right? Some nougat masonry, the blue door going out onto the balcony, and I think it looks pretty good. I like the color accent. I like the combination of light and dark gray. I think that's pretty sweet. I think it's gonna look pretty cool. But with that said, I've got to hollow out the interior, so you can see this here is only 2 studs wide, so I just need to get it like 2 studs wide all the way around, except for here it's going to be 8 studs, so 8 by plate there all the way around that, these 2 corners, or these 2 sides I should say, and then 2 plate wide along there, 2 studs wide. So yeah, it should be a challenge. Also, another thing that's going to be a little bit of a challenge is the fact that I don't have any more of these railing pieces. I thought I built this using parts that I had a ton of, but I don't see any more of these railings or these like little window pieces in my inventory. So I might have to make a switch there, which I'm a little bit disappointed about, because I think that looks pretty good. So I don't know what to do in regards to that. Maybe I should change this out for like trans clear glass panels, so it's like a glass window, and maybe that will remove the sort of monochromatic feel that this build has. Like, it is a lot of light and dark gray, despite there being the nougat. So what I'm going to do is just try and whip up another one of these, but make sure it's hollow in the center, and then make those appropriate changes so like it's actually sustainable, so that I can actually build a bunch of them. And another thing that I need to decide what I'm going to do is, or what I'm going to do about, is how am I going to build the ground floor? Like, is that going to be different? I don't know. Like, should there be an entrance to the raised train line? Like, that's, maybe there should be a train station there. Once again, there's not a huge amount of space to work with there. Maybe the ground floor needs to be like double the height, and it's like a lobby, but then what do you do for stairs? Because once again, there's not a huge amount of space to work with. So yeah, there's a lot of question marks involved, but I think the only way to answer those questions is just to get started, just like any other LEGO project, right? You know what? I just found them, the dark gray window elements. But now I have a decision to make. Do I want to stick with the dark gray? Or do I want to go with the Daily Bugle glass pieces, the 1x2x2? Because I've got all those. Plus, in this drawer here, which I just organized the other day, you would think I would remember that those windows were in there, or you would think I would look in the door, fence, and window drawer before saying I don't have them. Sheesh, it's early. I still got half my coffee left, alright? But yeah, I've got a whack of these, and I'm thinking maybe like the glass will look better, but I feel like if I do the glass, maybe it needs like a tile running over top of it or something, but maybe not. I think I'm going to test one out with the glass, because I think that like model there is looking Very like light and dark grayish. But once again, once you get those minifigs on the balcony, it's gonna pop. So what I decided to do was just use those glass panels, but then put some 1x2 dark gray plates between each panel. And the spacing works out, and now I have a combination of the dark gray look and the glass panel look. Now, these floors aren't going to be removable, because why would they need to be removable? They're sort of going to be like stuck around this pillar, and there's no interior details to access anyway. So I put the next layer of plate on, and it's just going to go right over top like that. I did put a layer of plate interlocking everything, and then I put that larger layer of plate, which will be the next floor, on top of that. So it is 2 plates. I don't know if I need to do like a row of brick, because once this becomes the height that I want it to be, like way up here, you're going to be able to see the details on the balconies anyway, right? So this is most likely going to sit like this. So we'll have a balcony facing this way and a balcony facing toward the beach, and then we'll build it up this way. Now this is too big. Like, I built it too big, but it's only 2 studs too big, like depth-wise or length-wise this way. And I wanted to do that just because the spacing works out, so I can get the masonry brick in there and also 3 windows. If I reduce it by 2 studs, it sort of throws everything off. Then I either have to get rid of a window and increase the amount of gray, or I could increase the amount of masonry, I guess. But I just like the math on that, and I think it sort of makes sense. So I'm going to keep it this size, and it's going to be offset toward the beach like that. And I'm just going to build like a bunch of these and a big stack of them. And then I'm going to put it around the pillar like this. But then wait a minute. What am I going to do there? How am I going to lock in like this side of the building, or cover that side of the building? So I've built this little panel over here. And I honestly think that this is just going to be installed after. And this panel will maybe be tacked onto the main structure at the very top. So then all I have to do is pull a couple parts off and remove this panel if I want to remove this entire structure. The taller it becomes, the better it looks, right? 3 floors down. I'm really digging the design. It's sort of modern, and I can't wait to install it in the city. I just want to build as many floors as I can. But with that said, I'm just doing the main structure right now. I should probably build this side panel that's going to go right there. Now, one thing I will say, I'm not too happy about this design flaw, and that's the light gray plate that locks everything together running through the masonry brick. I guess it doesn't look too bad because it's sort of consistent. Maybe what I should do is change the nougat plate to light gray. I think that looks a little bit better, although it's not matching up with that tile there. In order to make it one solid nougat pillar, which would be ideal, once again, I would have to use some corner plates in nougat, I think, and have those corner plates go on the nougat pillar, and then go on this window on the left side and the window on the right side. But I don't know if I have enough nougat corner plates to do that. I haven't even checked. Maybe. Oh, I probably do. But then if I do that, I'd have to like switch up all the plate work, because then this plate needs to switch to like some 1x plate. And I just need to make a bunch of changes to get the math right. And if I do it on that side, then I should probably do it on this side as well. Although you can't really see it on this side because of those overhanging balconies, but probably should do it. And it doesn't really matter on this side, actually, because these balconies are going to come in front of it anyway, so you're not going to see it. So maybe I just need to change the 1x2s on this side as well, just to make it look consistent. And then that's good enough. Another little nitpick that I have with my design is the railing. This side is like perfect, right? It's locked in there nicely, and I did that with one of those snot bricks, the 1x1 by 1 2/3, those guys. They're just beauties, right? And then it actually clips into this side into a snot brick, or sorry, into a jeepers, a brick with a hole in it. And I put a 1x1 plate there and a 1x1 tile. Finishes it off nicely, right? But this side, I can do the same thing with the snot brick, but I can't figure out how to lock in this side because, of course, that's the other snot brick. And if I flip it, if I put this snot brick on this side, like I've tried down here, and then try to double stack these, the math doesn't line up. It's off by a half plate. You see? So I can't figure out how to lock in both glass railings on both sides like I did with this one here, which is sort of frustrating because this one's sort of wiggling around. I mean, maybe I could work out the math with like replace these with brackets and then have a tile run across the whole thing, but brackets are like half plates and this is a stud, so getting the math on that would be difficult. I mean, it's not the end of the world. This is just sort of free floating, but it sort of bothers me, but not really. Once it's installed, it's not like it's going to be moving around. I'm just being weird. I just want to figure out a way to do it, but I don't think it's the end of the world. It was getting a little bit scary there for a second, wasn't it? Oh my gosh, my desk was an absolute disaster. So of course, I went through and organized everything. And I'm at the stage where I'm pretty much out of a certain part, and that is the blue windows. I do have these ones that look like blinds, and I actually did use those on the ground floor. I don't know if you noticed that, but my first template had those. So it looks like blinds, sort of. I don't know if I want to use those throughout the entire thing because I don't have enough of them. So that's one reason. And I don't know if they look as good as just having the plain windows. But look at that, it's 5 floors. And I also built the panel, just tacked it loosely in place there for the sidewall. Boom. And that sort of finishes it off quite nicely, doesn't it? Oh yeah, digging that. So I was lucky because I went through my plate drawer. You can see it open in the bottom left there. And I found more 6x plate. I was like, oh, I'm out of 6x plate and I need 6x plate. Like it has to be there. So I found a bunch of it. Some of it is that old gray color. Oh my gosh, that is so disgusting. Like it is just, that's gross. But I need to find some more windows because as you can see, the last floor that I created doesn't have the windows installed. And I think I know exactly where to find them. It is time, everybody, to cannibalize my old Avengers Tower. There's the base of it, and right here is the other part of it. Oh man, it's time for you to go, buddy. Look at all those blue windows. We need those. And I think we can use these for something else, like a different sort of skyscraper in the future. And same with all of these parts too. Like there are some terrific parts in this mock. Well, I guess it turns out I just couldn't do that without making a mess. Whoops. The window glass from that Avengers Tower, though, is just nasty. Look at it, scratched up. Oh my gosh. It has seen some days, that is for sure. Holy cow. These ones down here were brand new. Such a pleasure working with that, right? I actually got them from parting out those Iron Man Hall of Armor sets that I've been buying for like 40% off, I think. They come with a bunch of great minifigures and a bunch of great parts, which I'm now using. That's awesome. But yeah, it is a pleasure working with brand new window glass. One thing I will say, though, is you see this when you're like building it, but then when you're like back here, you don't really see it. For example, that Avengers Tower was sitting in the LEGO city forever, and it's not like you could tell that window glass looked like that. As I was working on floor number 6, I discovered that I was running out of those little 1x1 snot bricks that hold these railings in place. So I was trying to come up with solutions. I used like 1x1x1 snot bricks, and that didn't really work out. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I can use these here. They're the 1x2 ones, right? But that has the additional studs. So what I decided to do was use them on this railing right there. And then on those additional studs, just put a tile to clean it up. I was like, okay, but I've got to make that look consistent over here. And I was like, oh, perfect. So I changed my spacer plate, which is the light gray one, from a 1x2 to a 2x2. And now it extends in like that. And that actually provides support to that one there. Because these window panels will only flex like inward, I find. Not very many cases you're going to find it like that. It'll always be inward. So with that, it sort of locks that in place. So taking a negative that I was out of those parts and turning it into a positive, now I've got a consistent look there with the dark gray tile in the interior. And it's also locked in place. And I think these tiles right here, these corner ones, add a pretty nice aesthetic to the build. Well, it looks like I'm out of those window glass again, so I've got to go get the other piece of the Avengers Tower. Yep, looks like the time has finally come, eh? Wow. Looks like there's a bunch of glass right here that I can use, though. And look at that. It's already in the frames, and this glass actually doesn't look too bad. Looks like it's in pretty good condition. So there we have it. It's 10 stories tall. Could it be taller? Yes, I think it can go up to 12 stories. But I don't think I have enough pieces to do that. Specifically window glass. Actually, I probably do. Could probably still take some more off there. But I'm also running out of the 1x2 dark gray plates and also some of the 2x light gray brick. And I'm excited about placing this. However, with that said, I still have to build the base for it, which actually has to be inset a little bit because the structure that I built now doesn't have that clearance. So the base of it is going to be super strange and a little bit hard to work on. And I don't want to continue constructing this even taller until I know what that base is going to be. But yeah, this is 10 stories now. Not bad. How tall is that? Let me measure. So it's approximately 26 inches or 65 centimeters tall. Not bad at all. My goal is to get it to the ceiling, though. I want to cover the entire pillar, and I will do that one day. Once again, I got to work on that base, though. Let's place this and see how it looks in that spot. I started placing it, and then I was like, you know what? I need another coffee. Well, Santa, you're a good man. You know what? I'll see you in a week. Because you know what day it is today? I'm a little bit ahead, everybody. It's Monday. A week from today, it's Christmas. Sort of weird, hey? I find it strange when I'm like ahead in video production because it's like this isn't coming out until the like very far future from now. That wasn't worded correctly. Holy cow. Even after drinking multiple coffees, I still can't speak. Don't mind me, everybody. But check it out. Pretty cool, hey? Jose came down here. She said, I don't think it needs to be any taller. She thinks it's tall enough. What do you think? I think I'm in agreement with her, you know. I think it looks about the right height. But the base definitely needs some work. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's not good. That's looking actually pretty sketch. Just those like old school train supports that I used to use, some 1x10 light gray brick, and then I just popped it on there. Pop this on there as well. And just two 2x4 tiles holding it down. Not too bad though. Obviously, you can see the pillar through the windows. There's no preventing that. At least the pillar is white, right? But yeah, I think this looks pretty cool. Now, the thing about the base is I've only got one stud of clearance for that train. So it can only go up to there. You see that? Because the nose of that train will hit it. So I've got to like taper it in, and it's going to be sort of weird. And I don't know how exactly to treat that. This side should be easy. Like I'm just going to blow this up right here. And then, I don't know, just build a front door for it, I guess. A door. And then just have like the same design. Maybe I'll like, rather than having it inset, I'll just bring it out so it's out like that. And then maybe 1 or 2 studs of the balcony will act as like a covering for the front door. Does that sort of make sense? I think so. Just instead of having the balcony on the first floor, put the windows right there, and then recessed on the back as well for train clearance. It's going to look a bit weird there, but I've got to try and think of a way to make it not look weird. That's the key. And then I'll also have to put a roof on it because I think that is going to be the max height. So I'll just put some slopes and stuff on here. So I'm actually doing something pretty cool tomorrow. I'm getting up at 3 a.m. and I'm driving to the mountains and I'm going snowboarding for the first time. How exciting is that? And I plan on finishing this project when I get back from snowboarding. I'm going snowboarding, I'm staying the night, I'm going snowboarding again, then I'm driving home. And I hope to maybe stop at some LEGO shopping destinations on the way home as well and make a little vlog about the snowboarding trip. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. And then I'm going to finish up this project right here. And I'm going to launch that video on Christmas Day. That's my plan. Christmas Day, we're going to finish that skyscraper and wish you all Merry Christmas. And if you don't watch that video, well, Merry Christmas, right? Happy holidays, all that good stuff. going snowboarding tomorrow for the first time this year. I'm pretty excited. Pretty excited because I didn't even go last year. So it's my first time in 2 years. I'm fired up. But I got to get up at 3 a.m. I'm also going to a family dinner tonight, which should be a lot of fun as well. And then I've got to pack up for snowboarding. I got to get all my snowboard gear ready. I got to get all my cameras ready because, of course, I want to bring my crazy 360 camera for the mountains. I think it's going to be incredible. Just make sure I've got all my T's crossed and I's dotted for that whole trip there. And then when I get back, it's guns blazing on this thing. Get that done. Should be pretty sweet. Everybody, thank you so much for coming on by. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff coming out in the near future. Farewell.